comes to sex, many of us have questions, but are too embarrassed to ask them out loud. So we're shedding the taboo and talking about the things that matter to you. Sexologist Tyomi Morgan is back to help us cover all of the bases. First up, we're going to start with something that's long been talked about, and I think it affects women more than men, but faking orgasms.
Oh, yes.
And why do people do that? It seems like a really bad idea to me.
You know, to me too, and unfortunately we have a lot of people that care more about their partner's egos and feelings than their own pleasure. And so that's really why people are faking orgasms, because in a relationship it's like, I want to make sure that my partner is secured, but you're placing your pleasure on the back burner. And so there is a thing right now called an orgasm gap, where it is for sure that men are going to have their end, but it's not always for sure for women. And the thing that I think is a misperception is that your partner is actually responsible for your pleasure. But the truth of the matter is, your pleasure is your own responsibility.
Take things into your own hands, so to speak.
Exactly. And so this is where self-pleasure for women comes in so heavily, because not only do you learn more about your body and what gets you there, but you also learn about what brings you more pleasure, and then you can communicate that to your partner.
And then you can take the workload off your hands. Right?
Exactly.
It's communication. We're also going to be talking about threesomes too, because you and I were talking a little bit about on the break. It's something a lot of people talk about.
Yes.
I'm like, I just can't wrap my head around it. But you gave me there's some good ideas that can make it feasible. I don't know.
So the main thing is asking yourself, what is it for?
Yeah.
You know, why are we having this threesome? Are both partners on board to bringing somebody else in for the fun and innocence and play of being able to explore freely sexually? Or is it something that's really self-serving for one partner who has a dissatisfaction in the relationship? How healthy is your relationship? Are you in a healthy place where you can open up your monogamous relationship for a point in time to bring somebody else in? And also, what types of people are you looking to bring into your situation? Because think about it. You bring a third energy in, you're bringing in all of their stuff on top of that. And how emotionally stable and mature are you to deal with the emotional stuff that's going to come up? Because the minute someone says, I want to bring a third person in, it's this idea, I'm not enough, I'm not satisfying my partner, why would you want to bring a third person in? And jealousy. So are you emotionally inept enough to be able to handle that stuff when it comes up, to not attack your partner about it and deal with your own internal conflicts?
Well, and there are kind of levels you were saying to this too, where you can make it not necessarily about three people all having sex together. It can be about you and your partner and someone else on the side.
Exactly, because some people want to go full throttle, fresh out the gate, and it doesn't have to always go there just yet. Threesomes come in many different forms with many different couplings of people, and so you can start out basically by just having somebody watch the two of you get it on, and that's still a threesome. It's just one inactive partner who's just being a voyeur. And so kind of taking those baby steps, but preparation is necessary. Communication,
lots of conversations,
boundaries, all of these things have to be discussed before you can actually put the fantasy in motion. Because on paper, everything looks good.
Oh yeah, it sounds great, right? If you on paper, reality,
but in real life,
let's be honest,
these things can get a little sticky, a little tricky, and they can hurt and break up relationships. And that's why I said first, how healthy is your relationship? Can your relationship handle opening up for a moment in time? Because if you subscribe to being monogamous, a threesome is temporarily opening it up. Yes. And so will your marriage or will your relationship survive a temporary opening, or is that something that you will want to close off? Do you want to keep it open after? So this can change the entire dynamic of your relationship, and the question is, are you prepared to have that conversation and make those shifts?
All right, we got some viewer questions that people sent in that we're going to throw at you now. Let's take a look. The first one here. Is it possible to become artistically inspired when you're aroused?
Oh, absolutely.
I would think so. Juices are flowing.
Of course. And think about this. Sexual energy is also creative energy. It's the energy that inspires all of the art that you see, anything that's visually beautiful. And I mean, it creates people.
Yeah.
So how could you not become creatively inspired when you're having sex? And so the best thing to do if you have like a stroke of or a strike of inspiration while you're like at your orgasmic peak, continue to let that orgasm ride out, but then right after, write your idea down.
Yeah,
right, exactly. So you don't forget it, because in that moment of bliss, everything is just kind of like you're connected to the creator, you're connected to like this outer worldly thing, and you feel like super inspired, but then you might forget it just as quick as that orgasm disappears. So write it down.
Okay, probably have time to get to one more. Let's take a look. My partner is kind of shy, but I want to spice things up. How do I get my partner to have public sex with me? That seems like a big jump from going from shy to public sex.
So extreme.
Yeah.
Like, listen, your desire is valid, yes, but you have to ask your partner first. Are you willing to join with me in this public sex thing? And then if your partner is shy, too shy to do something in the bedroom, you cannot expect them to be all of a sudden on board with doing something in public. And so you take baby steps. Have the conversation first. Maybe you can start out by like kissing in the car, like having a hot makeout session in the car. But the first thing is ask your partner, are you willing to do this? And then talk to see where you can meet a middle ground. Maybe full on penetrative sex is not what your partner is ready for,
right,
but maybe some hot cadoodling inside of the car is a good start and a happy medium to appease both people.
Maybe maybe try out different rooms in the house first with the windows open.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the idea of what public means
right,
has to be expounded on too, because like you say, you can open the windows and that's just as public. People are passing by, they can see into your home. And so kind of having a conversation around what that looks like and feels like and what will feel safe for both people is what's best. And you can't just get your partner to do anything.
Right.
They have to be willing and be on board. So knowing that it's important to honor your partner's wishes and where they are in their sexual expression is really important.
Could you imagine if you finally talk to your partner into doing this and you get arrested for public indecency?
But that's a very valid thing.
Yeah.
And people don't know this, but if you get caught and if you get prosecuted, you have to register as a sex offender.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So make sure the conversations are had first.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. And of course, we have a million other questions we could possibly get to. If you want to get some more information from sexologist Tyomi, there you got all of her social media handles right there. Make sure you follow her and check out that website as well. Yeah.